Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing a quick unboxing. Well, it might not be too quick because this is Chip Theory's game, The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. This is my crowdfunding pledge. I pledged for this game and now it is finally here. I am super pumped to dig through all of this. This is an all-in pledge with one caveat. At the time that these were shipping, the playmat for this has not shipped yet. It'll be coming in another shipment. So for now, we have everything but the playmat for Elder Scrolls. So if you're excited to see all the fun stuff that we're about to unbox, we got blacksmith packs, we've got premium dice tray, we got some deluxe draw bags, we've got premium chips, we've got an art book with all the amazing art in this game, we've got the Valenwood expansion, and of course the core game Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. And if you're excited to see what's in that and everything else, then I need you to meet me at the table.
High class roller, find yourself on top of a hill. You buy yourself a first class bungalow.
Before we dig into the game, I do want to mention that if you're wondering how this game plays and how to set up this game and everything, please go check out Chip Theory's website. They did, I believe, a 5 or 6 video series on how to go through Elder Scrolls. And if you're looking for some great playthroughs, you could check out Mike over at the One Stop Co-op Shop, or Derrick at Kanji Studios did a fantastic job going through a lot of what Elder Scrolls is. So please take a look at those channels. I'll try to put a link to them in the description of the video if I remember to do that. Let's unbox this and see what is inside. First, we have styrofoam. Yes, styrofoam. Okay, let's put the styrofoam aside. We have Greetings Adventures. Here's if you are reading this, know you're about to embark on a life-changing experience. To aid you, there's a company called Dized Tutorials. You can skip the rulebook and watch how it's played there. Like I said, there's also some videos out there you can check out as well. Here is how you're going to pack your box together. I really enjoy the fact that companies are now doing this, because sometimes you get all this stuff and you don't know how to get it all back in the box. And then you're struggling and you finally think you figured it out, and then you don't. Because all of a sudden you leave one thing over here and it's not in the box yet, the box is closed. So this is amazing. I really appreciate companies doing things like this. On the back here, it says this game has been more than 4-year undertaking for our entire company. So many people have made what you hold in your hands possible. So it's more of kind of a thank you letter coming from Chip Theory Games. That's awesome. They are a fantastic company. Now, if you have not ever played a Chip Theory game, do know that their production qualities of their game is second to none. And we're going to see that as we unbox this game. We have our maps for all the different regions that you can play in when it comes to this game. So we'll open this up and take a look at the art of the regions. We have Morrowind, which is a classic. I remember playing this when I was young. We have the Black Marsh. We have Cyrodiil. We also have the High Rock. We have Eastern Skyrim, and then we have Western Skyrim. And I have played a little bit of Skyrim, not very much. Sadly, I did not get a chance to get into this game very much, but I did play a lot of Morrowind, and I also played a lot of Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Sadly, my Oblivion play was cut short, mainly because I was doing a quest in there, and I went to do the quest, and the guy who was supposed to do something with the quest in somehow magically died in the game, and so I couldn't complete the quest, so it's kind of like, I'm done with this game. So I never actually finished it, but I probably should have. These are all the neoprene mats for all the different areas and potentially dungeons you're going to be delving into. We're going to quickly take a look at these neoprene mats. They're going to be placed down on the board, and according to whatever the books tell you, or the card that you've drawn tells you, you're going to be placing the enemies out on this board, and you're going to have a place where you start. There'll be some type of objective that you'll see during the game, and that'll be what you'll have to do on these mats. Now, these are double-sided. One is, I believe, for the Skyrim area, and the other one is for just the general area. So we have that one. This is going to be used for maybe some of the dungeon diving and the dungeon delving and the dungeon things that we go through. These are not double-sided. Oh, wow, there's so many of these things. Here's another set of these. These, again, I think are for more of the dungeon stuff that we're going to be doing. Look at these, look at the art. Now, of course, all these icons are going to be used in the game for particular things. This one, for example, is where you're going to put down potentially treasure. These, I believe, are where the enemies are going to be. And all of these are going to have a use in the mission that you're going on. And they may change depending on what the mission is. Now, I believe this is a lot of the time used as your starting tile area where you're going to put your characters down. And that connects to potentially one of these, because these will all kind of connect and form a big area for you. For example, that might connect like that. Or who knows, it might come over in this area here. So there's many different ways these can connect and create a battle area for your characters. We have some more. These are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what, 6, 7 hexes here. These are not double-sided. This one has lava. You don't want lava. Lava's bad. Here's one of the other ones. Now, again, like I said, all these icons are going to be doing things in the game based on potentially the mission you have selected or the dungeon that you're delving into. So not every one of them is going to be used at all times. Then we have these smaller ones with just 3. And here they are. These are the 3. And a lot of these are, when you're doing like dungeon delving, you're going to be flipping over cards that are going to tell you which mats to put out. Whereas the dungeon itself is going to be a laid out map that you're going to be going through. The game does come with a tutorial guide. This tutorial guide will walk you step by step how to create a character, how to play through the game, and how to get it to the table. So this is absolutely phenomenal that they do this. It is, I will tell you, this is fully, I believe, handheld, if I remember right. So you're not going to it'll be like, okay, you're going to roll the dice, but let's pretend you get these 2 things or something. So, but it does teach you all about the dice, all about how the characters are built, and how to move and do things inside of this world. So it is a valuable read and a valuable play. Once you get this done, you're going to have hours and hours of stuff that you can do in this game. So going through a small tutorial is nothing compared to all the fun and excitement you're going to have inside of this game. The next thing we have is going to be our reference sheets. This right here is the enemy skills reference. That's right. These could potentially be on any of the enemies you see. There are an astronomical amount of them, making each enemy feel different as you play through this game. They also even have native skills as well. These are going to be specific to the areas that you're fighting in. So for example, if you're in Black Marsh, you're going to see enemies that have this Storm Seer ability type thing. So you're going to then, which is kind of cool. So not only does each enemy feel unique, but each enemy in different areas are going to feel unique as well. You also have status references for any of the status effects that potentially you can do, and of course the enemies can do. There are 2 of them. They're exactly the same, but you can pass these out or leave them on one half of the table so all your people can see these. I do want to mention this game is also played usually about 1 to 4 players, and yes, I believe this game can be played completely true solo, if I remember right. Each of the quests or an adventure in Elder Scrolls does take about 2 hours and add about a half hour for each player that is playing the game. So this can take quite a while, but of course you can always save your game and be coming back to it when you want to, I believe. We'll see how this all transpires. I'm going to take this off, more styrofoam to save some of our great components here. The first thing we have is, of course, the rulebook. The rulebook is about 100 pages long, if I remember right, but it's not just all block text. There's a lot of really cool art in here, and there's going to be a lot of great diagrams showing you how to do the different things. And it does go through almost anything that could possibly happen in this game, which is one of the reasons this book is going to be absolutely amazing. What is this right here? It had a whole nother set here. What's this? This is these are the battle rules. Okay, so it has a whole thing on battle rules, and I'm guessing going to have the whole thing on the game phases and how to set up and get the game going. Adventure rules right there, and of course the setup. So there's our 4 completely full areas to work, which is really nice how they divide the book up. Instead of just looking for certain rules like, oh, I got to figure out how I can attack this guy. Well, it's going to be in the battle rules. It's going to be back here. Let's look at the battle rules. Pretty awesome. All right, we'll put that book aside. And then these are going to be all the Gazetteers. These are each area that you play in is going to have its own book. And this book is going to be filled with all the different missions and towns that you can come into in this game. Here are all the different quests that could potentially be part of this area. And then, of course, all the, what do you call them, cities and things in this area too. We're going to start just looking at this first city right here, if we even have it. Gazette, there we go, first city. So just to show you a little bit about this book, what you're going to see is some flavor text up here. There could be potentially rules for this particular town that are different from some of the other towns. Then once you come, it's going to tell you if, what type of legendary gear and common gear is going to be in the store. You're going to draw cards equal to those numbers. It'll say that there is a quest board here. There's a guild kiosk. There's also an alchemy shop where you can get and buy potions and maybe refill your potions. The inn is closed. Sometimes not everything is going to have all the different things for your adventurers. These are the different trainers available to you, and anything grayed out, for example, this could be grayed out, so we might not be able to level up any of those skills in this particular town. So kind of be aware of what town you're going to and what could be there. So this is Skyrim, and like I said, there's one for all the different places. High Rock, we have one for Cryodil, which I believe is the area that I played in. I did do a demo of this in Gen Con with Derrick from Kanji Studios and Steve from Co-op Guild. Chris also joined us as well, and we played 4 players, and I believe we were in this area of the game. We just decided to pick that one to try out. This is Black Marsh. When you do go through the tutorial, Black Marsh is the one that you are going to be starting in, and it does recommend you kind of start in this one because it is it's a easier one to navigate and understand as you play through it. There's not as many rules and that go along with this particular Gazetteer, from what I understand. So as you play it, just think this might be a good place to start. But of course, you don't have to. There are so many places. We got Morrowind. Here's Morrowind. We can go to Morrowind. There's a lot of cool places there, I wouldn't doubt, and a lot of awesome adventures to be had. Now we're going to get down into the meat of the game. We have with us a couple of our bags. These are going to be the bags that are going to use to draw tokens out of as we play through the game. We're going to put our enemies into here, which are going to be the 1 to 5 enemies in this one, the 10 to 20 enemies, and then this is going to have the different skill icons in here as well. So you can reach in there and grab out your certain skills. But of course, when you go all in on your pledge, you're going to get these deeper sunken bags that are able to stand up on the table that put the chips in. And you can just dig into you can put this over to the side of the thing and say, oh yeah, I need two 10-point chips. And you can just reach into here, grab 2 10-point chips, put them and get them all set to ready to go. They have one for the 1 to 5 as well. Now they don't have one for the skill chips, but those are really small. So that bag that it comes with is going to be just fine. We're going to continue on into this box. Let's see what else we have. Oh, this right here. This is super cool. This is going to hold all your cards. And I'll talk about what these things are in a second. But these are going to hold all the cards you're going to be using for the game, depending on where you are. And they're all going to fit into these things, and you can draw the cards straight from here and put them back really easily. I wish more games came with something like this, because you want to know how many card decks I usually play with in some of my dungeon crawler games or big open world adventure games. Lots of cards, and they're just all over the board. Where if I can get something like this, they can all just fit right in there. Now, of course, I could probably find one of these somewhere on the internet, but I'm just hoping maybe someday one of my games will come with it. And lo and behold, my wish has been answered, I should say. My wish has been granted. Continuing into the box, these I believe are going to be the 4-player boards. And as you can see, they are able to be saved just like this and put back into this box. So like I said, this game could be a long game, and these are going to keep your game saved so you can bring it back out. This is a neoprene mat, again, just like all the rest of their components. What you're seeing here is you're going to be slotting in your skills over on this side, and I'll show you how this all kind of works in a second here. This is going to choose your battle stance that you're going to be taking while you're playing, and you can change that as you're playing. This is where you can store experience. You can never have more than 3. This is where you're going to have to deal with cooldown for your character. And this stat right here will show you how many things you can pull back from your cooldown area back into your board, or potentially removing some fatigue that you may gain along the way. Then we have our tenacity track down here that is going to allow you to do different maneuvers and different abilities based on how many you want to give up. This is kind of like, it's basically if you roll like a fail on the die, you can gain some tenacity instead that you can use. These are where you're going to slot your skill dice or your skill chips to show what you can roll. So that is our player boards, and there are 4 of them. They're different colors, but I don't believe the colors really make a difference as to what is there. We have a red one, a blue one, a green one, and a yellow one. Those are the 4 different colors of the boards that you can choose to play with as you play through the game. And now you're about to see why they are called chip theory games. This is the meat of chip theory games right here. We have a couple things I'm going to look at soon, but these are some of the cards for the game. But first, let's take a look at these components in here. In here, we're going to have, okay, so let's go through all these. The first set of components we have in the game are going to be these. Health, stamina, and magicka chips. These are going to be placed into your player mat, which is why I kind of brought this back out to kind of show you exactly kind of what is going on here. And where you place these into your mat is going to be based on your race and potentially class and things like that. So I'm actually going to show you some of those cards here first too. In this box is going to be, I'm guessing, the cards that have to do with this. So we do have, we have 3 different sets of cards. Here are the class and race cards. We also have the campaign journal, which is going to track all the things for your adventure on here. And then we have a turn reference sheet and some of the skill cards as well. The first thing we'd have to do is select our race, which we have here. You can play anything you want. There is absolutely a mountain of races here. It's ridiculous how many there are. On the back side, of course, there's the other side. So we have female and male sides, both of these. So it does, and which one you choose isn't going to change what these stats are. 43222 4322 is still going to be the same on 43222. So it's still the same, depending on, it doesn't matter what gender you choose. Now, once you get those, you're going to be slotting this stuff into your player mat. So for example, you get 4 health, you're going to start with a 4 health chip. I'm just going to say this is 4. It says 5. Me on the backside is 4. How about that? I'm a genius. So you're going to slot that in. You're going to slot in your stamina, which is going to be this one here. These are all the different tokens you're going to use to make your characters. You're going to have a magicka stat, and you're going to have a endurance stat. No, there we go. That's it. Then we're going to have our stamina. So we're going to put in 2 of our chips here for our stamina, 3 for our magicka here. 1, 2, 3, just like this. 1, 2, 3. Put them in so that they're all fitting in perfectly. Now, of course, you want to make it look a lot better than I make it look. I make it kind of look like a mess. Now, the number of chips you have in here is going to be kind of some of, I believe, some of the dice you're going to be rolling and things. Then you can also gain other skills as you gain to the game. For example, but you only have this board that you can place skills on. So, for example, if I decide to take speech as a skill, I could place it up here, or I could put it here, and the other areas are going to fill up with dice that you're going to be able to use for your adventure. But as you put dice in here, it may knock out some of the other ones on the other side. So it's kind of a yin-yang type system here as to which side you're going to be putting things in and what you're going to be doing with them. So that's kind of how these chips work. And of course, we have all our different skill icons in here as well. We have, like, for example, athletics. We have, I'm guessing, destructions, I'm guessing. Let's see what else we have. We have our bow. And as you can see, the different colors are going to match the different types of skills that go along with it. We have some of these other, there's just so many chips in here. I don't know what all of them do. I apologize. We do have some for defense, I believe, and we also have some for, and of course, some of these are going to be quest tokens, and well, there's just so many different chips in here. But here are all the skills you could possibly choose from. For example, like I said, you decide to do speech. Well, when speech gets to level 1, you're going to be able to grab a die for it, and you're going to put it there. So when you decide to do a skill that has to do with speech, you can roll the speech die plus your other generic dice as well. We have one-handed and shield, destruction staff. We have just straight combat skills, heavy armor, shadow. So for example, our heavy armor is going to be able to give us, I believe, more defense when we're with our characters. The one sword and shield one, I bet, is going to be able to do that too. So we have potentially be able to use them for defense or for attacking. We have two-handeds in here. There's shadows in here. Restoring light. That sounds awesome. We can summon Derrick summoning. We have acrobatics. All these different skills. And you can learn these skills as whenever you go to some of the different trainers that you find in those cities as you're moving around the map. Lots of cool skills that you can learn. And then on top of that, you have classes that you can gain as well. Here's a Dragon Knight. Let's go to this side because these are the novice characters. You also have master characters as well. These are what you can do. 1, discard an item, then heal any one party member up to 3 points. These, I believe, are the tenacity points that you can use, I think, is what these are, if I remember right. What these are able to do for you. But these are all the different types of classes that there are in the game. I think if I remember, I played like I don't know what I played. I played a character where all I wanted to do actually was roll a miss so I could actually do damage. It was the only way I could do any damage to him. It was Dark Exchange. Remove 1 hit point from yourself and from a unit in range, and add both chips to any other unit in range, and you may exceed their health stat. I was doing that over and over again because I couldn't actually deal damage to the bad guy, but I could definitely help out my friends that were trying to attack the bad guy. So again, there is some cooperation, lots of cooperation in this game that you're going to be able to do. As you see up on these other parts, we're going to be using these. We're going to slot these in to show how much tenacity you have, what particular combat stance you are in. is where these are going to all slot in, and how many extra experience points you have. But because we did the all-in pledge, we have metal ones for these. These are the metal ones that came with the upgraded components, and those are, again, just going to stick in there. They fit in there just fine. So for example, say we want to go with bow, and we have maybe one of our XP, we have that ready to go. Our character is good to go, and these, I believe, just stay in there as the cover comes on top. So these are able to fit in there perfectly and be able to save our game as we go forward in the game. So we'll put these back into the bag and check out some of the other stuff. In that bag of the blacksmith components, we also have a countdown die. That's a metal die, and this is the first player token. From what I understand, this is going to be able to pass around to the first player as we go through the game. The other pack of cards that was found in that area are side quests. These are all side quest cards. We're just going to look at one quick side quest, and just so you can see, it'll take a look at it. And it says Watcher in the Dark. So you have a little flavor text that has to do with it. This is going to be what you're going to have to do, and the battle objective is to eliminate the Watcher. So this is going to be out in the world that you're going to have to deal with. Now that you have a side quest, you're going to have to do this. So committing to studying the fallen Watcher. Okay, so that's our rewards down here. This is how you're going to do the quest. It could be something where you have to draw a certain encounter, or you have to land on a certain area in the board, or you have to delve into a dungeon to find something like that. These are all the different, there's so many different side quests. It's absolutely amazing. It's like, I believe upwards of 30 some of these, and these are all going to kind of, like I said, slot in to this tray. And as you can see, it shows what particular cards are going to be slotted into these moving forward. So these particular ones are the side quests. They're going to slot in just like that, because it has the symbol for the side quest right down there, and then this is the symbol for it. So those are where you're going to put your side quest cards. Moving back to the box, we do have another set of cards. We'll open these up. Inside there are 5 card dividers. The first set of cards I have are going to be our guild cards. There are going to be all the different guilds in the game that you can join, and then you're going to potentially be able to do specific things from this guild when you come to it. Also, you can gain quests and for the guilds themselves. So for example, our Fighters Guild here, if we decided to, we can spend a saved XP to train any of our combat skill lines. On the back, it tells you a little bit about what this Fighters Guild is and kind of what you're to expect if you take this as your guild. The party is going to focus on a variety of battle-heavy type quests. So if you want to do a lot of fighting, that might be your quest you might want to get. The Dark Brotherhood is, for example, going to be a party focused on eliminating specific targets. This can take the form of unique battles or non-combat actions. So that could be one you might want to do. There are so many: Undaunted, the Thieves, the Psychic, the Outer Watch, the Mages Guild, the Eyes of the Queen. There's Circle of Champions. So there's all these different types of those are the different guild cards and the quests that go along with them. Next, we have Overland encounters. So when you looked at the map of the game, it showed all the different areas on the board as you're moving around it, and you're going to be drawing specific cards for whatever you decide to stop on. You could do anything from these more, you could do safe ones, you could do not safe ones. There's also unstable ones, which could be easy, which could be nice, or they could be bad, or they could be really bad. You're never sure. But these are all going to be specific to a region, and then there's a set of general ones as well. These are to the Skyrim region, the SKs. These are to the Psylocke region. We have the general ones up on top. The Black Marsh are going to be this one. So you're going to take the cards for that specific area. Any of the general ones you're supposed to when you start your game and start moving around that board. And then you get to explore all these cool things that are out there for you to see. Next, we have our common items, and look at all these common items we have here. And it's just so many. And on here is, if it's out on the board and you have to try to unlock it, this is like a little safe opening test that you can make. You have 3 dice, you have 3 tries to kind of roll those numbers and make it happen. And you can use stamina and things to increase or decrease the dice numbers so that you have a better chance of making it through. And it'd be really, you're not always going to roll those 3 numbers in 3 tries. Now, of course, if you get one of the numbers, you can lock it in and things of that nature. But here's like some of them. You could have a Redguard Maple Shield. You could get a Skink Horn Tonic. You could get a Glyph of Bracing. Now, glyphs are kind of cool. You can put this, enchant companion, play enchanted companion, gains the enemy skill Divert. So these are going to be able to help with the different enemies and things. We have Dark Elf Cuirass. No, that's not any of the weapons. I'm looking for some of the weapons. Here's the weapons up in in front. Okay, so we have like Iron Greatsword, and again, 1 over fatigue to add 3 enemy combat dice to this engage action. To this engage. Then like here it says overtax, perform the above effect without gaining over fatigue. But if you do the overtaxing, it overtaxes the weapon, and you would have to discard it, from what I understand. Gallant Sword. So there's some really cool items in here that are going to help your hero. I believe you could also sell these if you want to, but of course I don't think you can sell them. Never mind, you can't sell them. Don't listen to me. But you can, when you go to a market, you're going to put out a certain amount of these. So say we get to a market, it's going to tell us to put out 3. We're going to place out 3, and if we go to the market, then you can choose to take these in your hand. There isn't like, you don't need like gold to buy these or anything. You just are kind of already given the fact that you have that gold. The next thing we have is our legendary deck of stuff. Now I'm not going to show too many of these, but I might show a couple of them. Again, look at the lock on this. It's a lot harder to find out in the world, but you might still be able to get some at towns or based on quests. So for example, here we got the Conjurer's Potion. That's something we could have. Let's look at one of the weapons. The Bow of the Deadlands. Oh, that looks awesome. So your first engage turn, increase your range by 4. You can shoot all the way across the map if you wanted to. You can get some really cool armor. Or a Glyph of Crushing. You get a Glyph of Crushing. We got some armor in here. Here you go. The Silver Dawn Jacket. Okay, that's all I'm going to show. I know I showed more than I probably should have. That was 4. Those are 4 of them that I showed from that one. The next thing we have is our Delve cards. There's some general Delve, and then they're going to be specific for your region. And these are going to tell you kind of how to lay out the Delve. And when you go for Delves, you're looking for these Sky Shards. And you're going to go into the Delve going for the Sky Shards. And then if you're playing a 1-player game, it's going to kind of tell you what type of monsters to put out there. 2-player game, 3, 4, and so on. And then once you put out the monsters, you're also going to have something that goes along with the Delve as well. Some of these are going to give you 1 shard, maybe no shards. Some might give you multiple shards. There's some that are probably like 2 shards. That's a 1 shard. There's some other ones in here that might have 2 shards on them. Anyway, or it might be you might get shards if you're able to get through it. But you're going to draw this, then place out that particular tile. This one you draw only puts out a 3 tile, but it has a Rising Swamp Water with 1 enemy here that's either going to be a 1, 5, 10, or 20 depending on your amount of characters, and it also scales with level. So if you had 2 characters that were level, let's say 2, that would be, let's say, a total of 4 points. Let's say, I'm just making numbers up. I'm not sure if that's how it all goes. Well, it says to put a 5 down, but we don't get to put a 5 because a 5 would be more than our level of enemies that we're going to put out. So we just put out 4 1s in that case. For example, the Dungeon Cache, we're going to put out a 5 and a 1 for your enemies you're going to have to deal with. Now these are the Delve deck. The Delve deck is really cool. It's completely different from anything I've seen Chip Theory kind of do. You're going to remember those the tiles or the neoprene mats that were looking more like dungeons. That's what these are. You're going to be drawing these and placing out that particular dungeon tile, populating with what it tells you to do, and then continuing on with the Delve as you go forward until you find those Sky Shards. And sometimes there's even going to be quests that are going to be just a full dungeon. You're going to lay it all out and go for it. It's going to be super cool. Now those are all the different cards that this game comes with. There is one other thing I want to show before I get to all these chips and dice, and that is this. This is the turn and experience marker. You're going to place the 2 chips for it in here, and you're going to keep, there's going to be like a dial that you're going to turn. Now, I'm going to put this right here because I'm sure those chips are inside here. Now, first thing we have is an extra set of place to put our chips that we can put in here. So we have an extra storage bin for them. And the first set of chips we have these are the cache chips. These are the ones that when you place them down there, it might say like, oh, there's a common enemy here or common item there. So you put it down on that player, the mat. And then at that point, if you go onto it, then you can try to unlock that card, rolling through the dice to see if you can actually unlock it. There are 6 of these that you can use out on the map, but I don't think you're going to use that many as you go. But you know, we might get to that many. Let's continue on. These are the health chips that we're not going to use. These are the ones that come with the game, but we have premium chips. Here are the normal chips that you can use for the game. They do look kind of cool. They have some engraving on them, which is kind of neat. But these are the premium chips. These are really good. These have a lot more weight and heft to them than these. These are just like some normal kind of plastic poker chips, where these are thick, sturdy chips that were part of the all-in pledge. The next set of chips we have down here are going to be all of our enemy chips, I believe. It's also going to have some other chips for us as well. The first thing we have is our chips that denote our characters. These are all the different races in the game, and there's 2 of each of them that you can play as, but I think one is the male version, one is the female version of the character, but then of course you can decide kind of what you want your character to kind of look like based on what you've decided as your class. So here we have this character here that can be looking like that. We also have it more in armor. in that fashion as well. We have a lizard man with a bow or with a sword or cudgel of some kind, then maybe one that's like a wizard type character. So they have, this is all there are. There's only this many though. So these are all the races for the game. Then there were some level 1 enemies. Now these go either 1, 5, 10, or 20s, and they are double-sided. The 5 is on the back of the 1. So we have a hack wing here, or we have a hack wing swarm. So it becomes more powerful as a level 5 enemy. For example, we have a mud crab, or we got a spider. We have 2 different kinds here. Yeah, spiders, always spiders. So this is going to show its health and how you're going to have to deal with it. It's going to show its target priority. It's going to give its defense, its endurance, its attack values. All these are found on the chips, and it's going to even have, some of these are going to have abilities, like this one is elusive, this one is native and elusive, this one is going to have a dodge ability, this one's going to have dodge and vine snare, and some of these are even going to be region specific enemies as you go through the game. And as we go forward, there are even more of these. There are this many. And then these, I'm going to guess, are going to be specific for quests or for boss fights of some kind, the white ones. I could be wrong about that. But these are more enemies here. So here we got like a Minotaur Lord, a level 20. That's out of control. Level 20. Then on this side, we have a Stalker. And again, they have these days and rally. This says BM, so that's going to be part of the Marsh group. So this one you might only find when you're fighting in the marsh. And then you're not going to find them other than that. And the game will, and the setup for each of your areas will tell you kind of what monsters and things are going to be in there. And then some of the quests will tell you to put certain monsters out on the board as you're fighting and going through the game. Before we move into the dice, these white ones that I noticed earlier, I looked through them a little bit. These are championships. Championships. I wish I had a championship, but the Vikings haven't won yet. The Minnesota Vikings need to do something. We need a championship. So these are champions. These are the champion chips. These are champion chips moving forward. There are also ones that are quest chips as well in here going forward. So this would be a champion of some kind. You can tell by the purple where this is going to be one of the quest unit chips that you're going to have to deal with. So these are going to go back in there. On top of that, like I said before, this did come with the 2 different dials that are going to go on here. And this, I believe, are magnetic. You're just going to stick right to it, just like that. Pow, right onto it. And then this is going to be the day counter right here. You do have, for most of the missions, 12 days to accomplish your mission. If you don't get it done in 12 days, you lose. This is the experience points, and based on the number of players and the experience your players have, that's going to determine the amount and deadliness, I guess you could say, or the number of enemies that are on the board. So if you had 6, let's say, you'll put a 5-point enemy out and a 1-point enemy out. It's that simple and to get the battles up and running. But these are going to spin as you go, and as you can see, they're magnetic, so it's going to stay on there. That's super cool. And then you can put the turn die right here that we saw earlier from our blacksmith kit. The final chip is our first player chip, which we also have a metal thing from our blacksmith kit as well. These are all the different dice we're going to hold. Also, there are the fatigue cubes in here as well. As you can see by these black ones, these black ones are actually things you never want to see. These are our over fatigue dice. These are going to go into the fatigue area. When you are able to remove fatigue, you're going to be removing these along with your other dice to get them back into your roll. Now, if you have too many fatigue dice in there and you can only get rid of 3, you're not maybe going to get any dice back to be able to use for the next round. So you need to be careful and when to push your character and when not to. So we have, again, a lot more of these fatigue dice. And then the next one we have are our combat skill dice. These are just your basic combat skill dice that aren't associated with any type of skills from what I understand. The numbers you see on here is how much damage it's going to do. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, and then that's going to be for our tenacity. We can get a tenacity if we roll that one. Those are just a couple of them. Now these are going to be primary all of our different types of skills moving forward. For example, if we decide to go down a magic track, and these are all going to be based on our level. These are level, and the different levels are going to give you different types of dice as you move forward. So for example, these I believe are some of the level 1 type dice. You're going to see, here we go. So this one could be this is a magic level 1 magic die. And it's got all these different symbols on it. And based on your class that you chose, it's going to tell you what these symbols or your weapons and things of that, it's going to tell you what exactly each of these are going to do. So if you look at our skill card for Destruction Magic, you're going to roll your die and see what you get. So if I got this, it would be that symbol here. I would deal 4 damage to your target and 1 true damage to any adventurer. Oh, that's no good. Well, maybe it is. 4 damage is not too bad. This one, for example, is just going to deal 2 damage. It also shows you how many of those you're going to find on here. So it'd be 3 of those, and then there should also be 1 of our tenacity dice, and then 1 of each of the other symbols that we could potentially roll. So it's kind of cool that when you grab your skills, you can see exactly what you're planning to do for your character as you level up to decide if you really want that. So here's our level 2 dice. It has the number 2 on it. And it shows you what you can get from this, and again, shows you what is here. Now there's 2 different level 2 dice for this particular skill tree. I could grab this one instead, which is going to be able to defeat level 1 enemies or destructive touch. Defeat 1 5 enemy, apply a Bane status die to an adventurer. So there's that one's just gonna be able to destroy enemies. That's actually not a bad idea. That sounds really good. Let me see if that's good. Yep, that's good. Okay, then we're gonna, so those are the level 1 and 2 skill dice from some of our stuff. Here are what we're going to use for when we're trying to pick the locks of those cards. And this is our turn die if we decide to use that instead of the metal one. And again, we have a lot more skill dice that we can use for this game. On top of that, we have our status dice here as well. These are all the different statuses that you can have in the game, and you can place these dice out onto your enemies on top of the chips, or you can place them on your hero chips as well to denote that they have specific statuses coming through. I'm going to guess there's 6 statuses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 sides. I got it. Wow, look at that. First try. Amazing. So the chip tree does a great job with chips and dice. These dice are super fun, and there's just so many of them. So now I want to try all the different skills. I want to roll all these dice. I want to see all this stuff happen. The next thing I want to talk about after looking through the entire core game is the Valenwood expansion. This is an expansion that was kind of an add-on. It could have been part of the one of the pledges, but it is part of the all-in pledge for sure. This is a whole nother area of the game, and it comes with a whole bunch of stuff just particular for this. Of course, we got our Gazetteer that is for this region. We have our enemies for the region. Now remember, there are going to be specific entities for each region. Now, of course, they're going to also throw in some regular ones as well. We do have some tokens that are going to be new for this one. I'm sure that's going to have to do with some of the races and classes and skills we can do. They look almost like some kind of poison thing of some kind, but I haven't looked into this one, so I'm not exactly sure everything we have. We have cards specific for it, which are going to have everything from items to some of the looks like delve cards. Some of the other cards we have are new cards. I don't know what these cards are. They're going to be specific for this region. We have some Overland cards that we're going to be seeing as we move around our map. Then it looks like we have our legendary cards and our common cards that are specific for here. Look, we got an Explorer pack for a donkey. Why not? That's awesome. All right, we'll put those aside and we'll look at the rest of what we get inside of this box. There must be, okay, this is one specific for, this is a mat specifically for this area here on both sides. That looks really cool. And then we have the map of Valenwood itself, which is right here. This is the map of Valenwood, which is a single-sided. I thought there might be 2 maps in here or something, but no, there's only one. This is the map. And I know I didn't mention this during the core game, but this is as you're walking around. These are going to tell you kind of, this is the City of Ash. Maybe you have a quest that ends in City of Ash, then you do that quest there. Or otherwise, you're going to draw an Overland card that has to do with these specific things. Conflict, unstable, peaceful, or a town. And all of them are going to be on this map as you're moving around to try to complete your quest. There are some new skills we have. We have light armor, illusion, ledgerman, and that's it. So we got 3 of them. And we have the quest tokens or the skill tokens that go along with them. And of course, all the dice that go along with these as well. Oh, this is gonna be kind of cool. And look at the light armor one. It's a Magicka one. So this might pair really good with the destruction skill. Not only do we have new skills, we also have classes. We've got Ranger, Burglar, and Arcanist. So Arcanist, oh, that sounds pretty awesome. So we've got some really cool things just from this little expansion. It's not a little expansion. There's so much stuff here. Look at these cards, so many good things. So there you have it. That is Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era by Chip Theory Games. The only thing I really didn't show was the dice tray. I think everybody's seen a dice tray. It's a nice tray. It does have a cool logo of the Elder Scrolls signature, this thing in the middle of the thing. It's super cool. All right, there you go. That's the unboxing. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more content comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments section below. I would love to hear from everyone. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please feel free to check out the link to the Patreon. It is also located in the description of this video. Those that have joined the Patreon are shown here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It means the world to me. Those that are part of the Patreon get a few perks. One of them is Colin and my playthroughs are shown to them usually a day or two ahead of time without commercial interruptions. On top of that, when it comes to games such as Elder Scrolls and other big games, we'll let our Patreon supporters help decide what class and characters and races and things like that we choose for our games. That way it gives them the ability to help affect the games that Colin and I play moving forward. So there you have it. This is the Elder Scrolls Betrayal Second Era unboxing, and if you're excited to see what Colin and I have coming up, then I need you to meet me at the table.